top 10 technology trends in new account opening, over to your moderator, Michael Sisk. Mike, you have the floor.
Thanks very much, Phil. And I want to thank the audience for being here, welcome the audience. We are grateful that you've chosen to share some of your day with us. We know your time is valuable. And for the next 60 minutes or so, we will make every effort to make every minute count. Once again, our topic today is the top 10 technology trends in new account opening. And my name is Michael Sisk. I'll be your moderator. I've been a New York-based journalist for about 15 years, covering the business and financial markets, and I've had stints as investor editor at Red Herring and editor-at-large at American Banker. And my articles have appeared in Barron's, Crane's New York Business, Inc., Institutional Investor, Strategy in Business and Worth, and I've co-written and edited a couple of books. The most recent was Merge Ahead, Mastering the 5 Enduring Trends of Artful M&A. More importantly, though, than my background are the 3 excellent speakers we have today, and I want to introduce them, all 3 to them right now. The first is Luvleen Sidhu. Luvleen is the Chief Strategy and Marketing Officer at BankMobile. Prior to her current role, she was a management consultant at Booz & Company in their financial services practice. Before attending business school at Wharton, she worked as the Director of Corporate Development at Customers Bank. While at the company, Luvleen introduced several growth projects, including partnering with a New York City-based startup to improve the banking experience through innovative technology. And we're very happy to have Luvleen with us. And also today we have Bob Diegel. Bob is a senior banking executive in the greater Philadelphia area who currently serves as Senior Vice President, Director of Operations Administration, and Deputy Chief Administrative Officer at Customers Bank, a community-based full-service bank based in Wyomissing, Pennsylvania. He joined the bank in 2014 to provide strategic direction and oversee e-banking, payments, and direct deposit operations. Throughout his distinguished 30-year career in banking and financial services, Robert has built a reputation as a forward thinker known for driving change and adapting technology to streamline processes, all while ensuring a superior customer service experience. We're very happy to have Bob with us as well. And rounding out our threesome today is Chris Edgington. Chris is the Senior Industry Solutions Marketing Manager at Kofax, focusing on financial services. Prior to joining Kofax, Chris was Senior Director of Global Operations for American Insurance Group, where he helped shape the worldwide ECM strategy. Chris also spent 14 years at Fidelity Investments in multiple leadership positions. During his tenure at Fidelity, Chris was responsible for implementing the complete capture, workflow, and records management solution across Fidelity companies. So that's those 3 panelists today. And just before we jump into things, the real meat of the presentation today, I just want to reiterate a couple things that Phil said at the top of the hour. We do have usually about 10 minutes set aside for questions at the end. We encourage you to ask those questions as they occur to you throughout the hour. You don't have to wait until the very end, so please submit any questions that occur to you, and we will make every effort to get to those in the time we have left. If for some reason we don't get to your question, we will follow up afterwards. So, fear not, your voice will be heard. Please ask anything you'd like. We also have one poll today, I think just one, and I always just encourage full participation whenever possible. We do share the results with the audience today. It's kind of a nice baselining. We all get to sort of see where everyone else stands on this issue that we've come together to discuss today. So I think that sort of wraps up my little introductory spiel, and I would like to now turn the floor over to Luvleen. Luvleen, take it away.
Great. Thank you, Mike, for this opportunity. Again, my name is Luvleen Sidhu, and I'm the Chief Strategy and Marketing Officer at BankMobile. So I wanted to take just a few minutes today to really share with you a little bit about BankMobile, but more importantly, really the lessons that we have learned about digital account opening by really truly being a mobile-first bank. So I wanted to start today by commenting a little bit on, the current financial services landscape. It's probably clear to everyone listening in on the call today that financial services is truly ripe for disruption. And we do feel that at BankMobile we are very fortunate to really be so well positioned to take advantage of this unique opportunity at our hands right now. So let me get started by sharing just a few stats that support what I'm saying. So if you knew about this Bain & Company report that came out recently, it was very interesting to hear that for the first time in 2014, customers interacted more with their banks through mobile channels than any other channel. And 35% of all interactions customers are having with their banks are now happening through the mobile channel, which is really exciting. In addition to that, 39% of millennials, which is actually a huge target market for BankMobile, 39% of them are very open to and excited about the possibility of banking with a branchless bank. There's really truly been this undeniable shift in consumer behavior with, on average, about 1 to 2 times a year customers are now visiting bank branches versus interacting with their banks 7 to 10 times on their tablet device per month and 20 to 30 times per month using their mobile devices. So it was really with these sort of undeniable digital trends in mind that we launched BankMobile several months ago, back in January 2015. So we just come up on 4 months. So I've moved on to the next slide. I apologize, Mike, but it doesn't seem to be showing up. I just want to make sure that the viewers can see it.
Okay, let me move that along for you. Oh, no, I think that's too fast.
So while you're getting that, so the first question is, so who are we? Our mission at BankMobile is really to create and to make banking effortless, fee-free, and financially empowering, to really become a bank that our customers can love. So what we have done is really bring this entire branch experience into the palm of your hand with our mobile-first strategy. So we have absolutely no fees, and to our knowledge, we are the only bank in the country that has no fees, with no exceptions. We also offer checking accounts, saving accounts, joint accounts, lines of credit, fee-free overdraft protection, which can all be opened using a mobile, tablet, or desktop device. We also offer higher savings rates than the largest 4 banks in the country, and we guarantee to be at least 0.25% higher than these banks. We also offer every customer of ours access to 55,000 fee-free ATMs around the country. And if they're part of our VIP experience, which we're actually publicly announcing today, which basically means that they make a monthly deposit of at least $1,500 with us, they also have access to every ATM in the country for free. So that's over 400,000 plus ATMs. And these customers also have access to a free financial advisor who can really help them build customizable financial plans to really help them feel financially empowered. So being a mobile-first bank, we obviously thought it was critical to have a new account opening process in place for mobile, tablet, and desktop on day one. So we were ready for this. And through the process of really building this digital bank, we have accumulated a lot of lessons learned about new account opening, which is really what I wanted to share with all of you guys today. So before we get started, I wanted to ask each of you to please take the following poll with the following question. So Mike, why don't you take it away here?
Great, will do, Loveleen. Yep, and as promised, this is our one and only poll today. Pretty simple, straightforward, but it's obviously very relevant to our discussion. Do you currently have a mobile account opening process in place with real-time decisioning? So if everyone could just take a moment and simply check yes or no, we will calibrate those results and share them with you. Just a few more moments, and then we will push the results to everyone, and then we'll be on our way with the rest of the presentation here. Let me go ahead and, okay, so interesting results. 3/4 no, 1/4 said yes. Loveleen, I don't know if that surprises you, or what you think of those results.
I'm actually not surprised, and that's why I think today's webinar is so relevant, and I really hope that everyone on the call today really gets a lot out of it. So really the first lesson that we learned so far through BankMobile is that it's so important to create a fast, easy account opening process. According to a recent study, which was actually recently also quoted in an American Banker article, 81% of consumers prefer a smartphone for tasks under 5 minutes, and only 43% prefer a smartphone for activities lasting longer. So we at BankMobile actually allow our customers to open deposit accounts in less than 5 minutes with real-time decisioning. And there really are two main components we believe are important to create this fast, easy account opening process. The first, it's really important to utilize technology. So we currently use driver's license picture account opening, which is basically the customer uses their smartphone to snap a picture of their driver's license, and it pre-fills majority of the personal information that we need to open an account. And it substantially reduces the amount of time it takes to open an account. The second thing that we think is really important to implement in order to provide users with this fast, easy account opening process is to create a seamless user experience. So before launching, we actually spent a lot of time streamlining the account opening process and making sure that we only included necessary steps and questions in order for us to really open an account that we felt was safe and obviously compliant. We also learned that it's important to let our users know what step they are in the current account opening process, so they get a sense of how long it'll take. Because what we found was if they weren't sure about how long it would take, they were very likely to drop off without even trying to complete the process. The third thing is that the account opening process needs to be user-friendly. User experience improvements is obviously an iterative, ongoing process. We at BankMobile do a lot of A/B testing to see really what works best, and actually have conducted a lot of focus groups where we, I guess you could say, creepily watch people opening accounts and really see where they get stuck during the account opening process. So we can actually improve these experiences based on feedback that we're getting in a real life setting. At the bottom of this screen, you can also see a few screenshots of our account opening process, and you can see that it's simple, it's clean, it's straightforward. But that being said, as I said before, we are always trying to improve the user experience, and it's an ongoing process. The second lesson we've learned so far is that the new account opening process doesn't end when the account is opened. It's really important to carry on the new account opening process with instant communication to the customer, both in-app and also through email, welcoming them on board, really creating this sense of excitement about this new banking relationship that you're sharing, and also outlining the steps that you would like the customer to take, such as funding the account, activating their debit card, etc. And then it's really important to reward those customers who take the actions you want. So for us, it's our VIP experience. We encourage our customers to make a monthly direct deposit, and then when we do this, we instantly make them feel special and really provide them with the benefits, with really direct benefits that reduce our main pain points, which are ATM fees and this lack of financial education and support. So again, I've included some screenshots below that really just show you some of our in-app messaging and some of our customer communication to exemplify what I've been talking about. So now I'd like to pass it on to my colleague, Bob Deagle, who has a few more lessons to share with you guys, and more so from an operational standpoint. Thank you.
Thank you, Loveleen, and welcome everyone. I'd love to share some of our experiences, and as we heard from Loveleen, we were heavily focused on the customer experience. Customers Bank and BankMobile are partners in this. BankMobile is a division of Customers Bank. So we work closely throughout the process to build in the layers of integration we needed to make sure that we were focused on a streamlined process. We first started with the review of many of the banks and credit unions that were out there today, and what we decided early on was we didn't want to just optimize an online experience, as many of the banks had done in their direction, but we wanted to create a mobile experience designed around a streamlined process and designed to delight the user. And in doing so, we had to build many new layers, add new partners, and be very aware of the integration pieces that needed to take place to ensure that the seamless process would take place. We looked at workflow. In fact, 3 months into the origination of the project, we put everything on hold and went back and reworked the workflow because we weren't happy with where we were in the direction. And we brought in a lot more intelligence. We brought in a number of other folks, and we worked very closely with the product to design it to where we could be happy with it, and as Loveleen said earlier, so that our customers would love the product. In doing so, we found that our partners were important. And in vetting out our partners, as we all have to do with third-party vendor management, we looked at the companies to make sure that they were sound and they had good security protocol, that they had good practices and audit controls, and that they would pass the muster for examiners coming in to take a look at our partners. One of the things we also found that we value was what the goals and expectations of our vendors were in their product. We put some value in their vaporware, if you will, what they were designing and what we expected to see in the near future. What we realized was their design and what they were going to release over the next 3 or 4 months was important to us, and we had the opportunity to influence what they were designing so that it would meet our goals and fit into our customer experience as a whole. Our functionality and process lifecycle is very short. Or in other words, as we're rolling out the latest and greatest parts of our app, we're also considering what's the next round of options should be. So we may be rolling out image capture or the license snapshot and taking a look at the technology that is being developed and rolled out. We feel as though the technology change is rapidly moving, and in order for us to keep pace and continue to have an experience that would delight our customers, we needed to keep pace with the technology changes as well. So speed to market was very challenging. We used 2 key vendors in doing so. We had a middleware partner, and that partner coordinated the information flow between the app, the core, and our decision engines for the real-time decisioning. They also were a conduit for filtering information into our AML and our fraud monitoring tools. We found this was really important, having this middleware, because it brought everything together in our back office. The second partner was, of course, the app itself. One of the things that we worked closely with in our app provider was not just their application and their design and development, but we needed to understand and get close to their third-party vendors or our fourth-party vendors to make sure that all team members had the same focus. And we needed to keep everyone in the information and development chain on target, moving quickly, and focused on customer interaction. Although our app is very intuitive, we also found a number of potential customers in various demographics that were challenged in online enrollment. In order to accommodate the individuals, both millennials and others, to enroll or help them enroll, we would go and visit college campuses. We would associate with affinity groups that are our business partners, and we would introduce our product to many, many consumers. At those interactions and those events, we would take a team, and with us, we would actually allow customers to enroll with our assistance, something I call indirect assist. And in doing so, that we learned a lot. We learned a lot of interaction. We learned a lot of the stumbling blocks that customers had, and we continue to learn and bring that back to our design table and look to incorporate what we learn into future releases. One of the things that we needed to also make sure of was that our internal staff was built to be flexible. As I mentioned earlier, we were looking to implement programs, processes, and design that were still in the development phase. And we will look to continue to do that going forward. And in doing so, we needed a staff and need a staff that is flexible, that are comfortable with early adoption, and are excited about change in our environment. So we took the opportunity over the last year or so, as we had attrition or we had opportunity to hire new folks, was to make sure we were hiring the right skill set, the very flexible skill set, the very early adoption-minded skill set that would afford us the ability to have the support to continue managing the integration that we needed to do going forward. Because we acknowledge that innovation in mobile is going to continue over the next several years and beyond. The next thing I'd like to talk about was compliance and what we learned. As with the online and as with many of the aspects of building our business, there were a number of key compliance components that we needed to consider. As a mobile bank, we thought about our boundaries and where we wanted to reach out to our customer base. And what we decided was the contiguous 48 states was a good fertile ground for us to launch our BankMobile product. In order to do so, we needed to make sure that we had our multi-state filings in place and we were able to do business in all 48 states. As you can imagine, that took a lot of lead time and help with different legal firms around the country to be able to do so. BSA and Know Your Customer, very important pieces. I'll talk about the fraud aspects and security aspects of that on the next slide. But making sure that we knew our customers and we were conforming to the Bank Secrecy Act was really important. And we designed our app and we associated ourselves with the various partners in order to make sure that we were going to be compliant initially at rollout and ongoing. AML was a consideration, and as we built the information flow and understood the customers and the way we aggregated information, we designed that early on to make sure that we could feed our AML models and get the reporting that we needed. And we also took on the challenge of UDAP and e-signatures. We are out of the paper business, although we provide convenient checks for our customers and 6 checks at account opening. We advocate and push along the electronic transactions. We did a lot of promotional activity. That was important to get the right attorney support and legal review of our documents. And as you can imagine, we're in many areas of social media. So we have our compliance and our legal group take a close look at anything that we're putting out into the social space to make sure that it's adequate and it covers us from a compliance perspective. And I'd like to say that all departments had a seat at the table when it related to compliance. We would bring compliance items to the development and idea center that we built for BankMobile, and everyone had a chance to understand and vet out the compliance issues. We did a lot of internal negotiation, and we always erred toward the customer experience and being conservative in providing the best products and services available. The last slide I'd like to talk about is security. And as I mentioned on the last slide, the new account fraud was really important to us in knowing the customer. Javelin Strategy did a study of 2014 losses, and there were 16 billion of losses against over 12 million households. So we knew that was something important we needed to focus in on. Our regulators had given us some advice on what they had seen in early adopters of mobile, and we talked to a number of industry experts in order to position our product and the tools and partners that we implemented to best manage our process. We also implemented identity and account authentication, and we did a number of transactional level reports and information to make sure that not just validating the customer coming in, but also understanding their transaction flow as they were in. So if someone came in with a low score early on, we'd watch that account for 60 days through our tools, and we had investigators closely monitoring different negative reports on all of our portfolios to make sure that we didn't just add them to our portfolio and then go on to the next customer. One of the challenges we had was with millennials. There is not a lot of out-of-wallet information available. So as they came through and used tools like the Experian tool, we found that it was hard to provide the right number of questions to get them through the validation process. We have not solved that yet, but we do continue to make changes to our matrix to improve the process, to make sure we're getting the right customers on, and stay focused on our onboarding strategy. Excuse me. We also have an aggressive exit strategy. So if you do something after you're enrolled, for example, a new funding transaction that comes back NSF or account closed on the other side, we don't think of that as a customer service issue. We close the account. We suspect, unless proven otherwise, that that person tried to defraud us, and we're very aggressive in our stance there. We continue to look at accounts that are opened that have an initial funding and haven't had activity, and we'll continue to monitor those and have a plan for those. And overall, customer security is our biggest focus. From an environment standpoint, we penetrate test every time there's a large release or a new third or fourth party vendor in the mix. We don't wait for an annual review or every 9 months. We think that is important to our environment and to our customers' information protection. Our information security officer has a go, no-go decision. That person needs to give us a thumbs up at the end of our rollouts and our new releases because we take security so seriously. And we heavily scrutinize the SOC reports that we get from both our partners and our partners' partners. We look closely at the types of audit findings. We look at the remediation. We look at repeat findings, and we take a very serious approach to making sure we're doing business with the right partners to provide our customers the experience they need. And I'm sorry that sounded a little bit rushed. I know we're trying to manage our time today, but I want to thank you for the opportunity to talk about BankMobile and some of our infrastructure opportunities and things that we did to make it work.
Thanks, Bob. I just wanted to end by saying that, back in the day, bank branches were the only way to service and sell to consumers. Then banks really started using mail as another channel. Then it became more so internet-based. And now it's all moving towards mobile for now. Who really knows what the future holds, but it is important to kind of stay ahead of the curve, and one way you can do that is by creating a seamless digital account opening process. As I said, our mission at BankMobile is to innovate and to make our customers say, wow. And I really hope you all try to do the same, and hopefully the lessons we shared with you today can help you get there. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Loveleen and Bob. This is Chris Edgington. I'll go through really what we're seeing in the industry today. That includes a lot of what you've heard today from Loveleen and Bob, but also a few other trends that we're seeing in the marketplace. So let's go right through this. But the why is new account opening important? I think Loveleen did a great job in this, but it's very important to get an engaged customer right from the start. You can see some of the quotes here, but increasing your profit by 8% with an engaged customer, and you really have 90 days to get a customer engaged, as we'll see from these next few slides here. So if you do engage in a positive manner through the new account opening process, you actually get more profit all along the way. And of course, we are seeking more revenues. But the way you get more revenues, of course, is actually having more products within for each customer. So the more engaged, the more likely they are to add actually new products. So and more products actually lead to higher revenue. This is just another slide. I think it came actually from Javelin, but the more products your customers have, the more engaged they are, they actually lead to higher profit. So it's very important to engage your customers in the way that they want to be engaged. Loveleen and Bob did a great job with the mobile channel, but as you can see here, there are a lot of applications being submitted. 2013 was the last sort of volumes that I got from Mandara here, but again, a lot of people are opening accounts, a lot of people are changing banks, and being able to engage these guys in an appropriate manner is critical for this. So just some stats here on the millennials. We all talk about millennials and why they're important. A third of the population is in that category, 80 million of them. But just some stats here, and I'll go through these quickly and you can read them. But just 50% do not believe they'll have cash in 5 years, and 33% believe they won't need a bank at all. So some pretty astounding numbers. But almost 3/4 would be more excited about a new financial offering from Google or Amazon than from a traditional bank. So there are disruptors, as Naveen pointed out earlier. But 1 in 3 are going to switch banks in the next 90 days. So it's important to pay attention to the millennials. But getting into the meat of the webinar with our top 10 technology trends. So it has been omni-channel. It has been multi-channel for a while. I think now we're moving past omni-channel into digital banking. So mobile is definitely the sort of the bright, shiny toy that's out in the industry today. There's so much you can do with mobile, as Levine and Bob has shown you. Getting into verification and authentication right off the bat, doing real-time decisioning, document capture through the mobile device, through branches, anywhere and everywhere you can, is actually another good trend here. And you can see the rest, and we'll go through each of these in a little more detail as we go through that. But just to point out the last one really here is an integrated platform. So getting one sort of platform that can provide all of these features and capabilities is pretty key to making sure that you're not piece parsing and relying on 12 different vendors and 12 different development roadmaps and how to in order to get you where you need to go. So one of the most important ones in this technology trend really is an integrated platform to provide that experienced and engaged customer throughout the new account opening process. So the shift to digital beyond omni-channel, so it really is all about three things. This is a slide from CEB Tower Group, but really, the technology and your customer behavior and economic trends all sort of come together in order to sort of change the way banks traditionally sort of interact in how they should interact. So gone are really the traditional sort of viewpoints where you have all four of these and the branch sitting in the middle, but it really is, you're using online and mobile to sort of pull all of this together so that you have a consistent and common way of engaging your customers in a very engaging way. So being able to utilize both the online and the mobile to bring the experience all together for the customer is really key for a digitally oriented view there. But it really is all about improving the experience, especially in the digital channels. So, another sort of chart from Tower Group, CEB Tower Group, but really focusing on improving your customer experience through your digital channels is actually is most critical. So, and it really is about, in traditional omni-channel, it's not just about one channel, one transaction. People are using multiple channels in order to transact, and it needs to be a consistent experience across all the channels. So some people may start on mobile, then finish online, or vice versa. And you can see here that from what kind of activities are actually done on each channel coming into the bank, if you will. But it's good. It's important to have consistent experience on each of your input channels throughout the bank. So this is a typical new account opening process, seen from sort of the customer perspective, where you actually have one new account opening process for brokerage, one for mortgage, one for credit card, and then they all seem disjointed. They all seem sort of lack consistency, and there really isn't any processes that bring this all together. And then what you have is a really disjointed view. So what we really need in this is sort of the 360 view of the customer, being able to provide that consistent and engaged experience throughout all of the input channels. So mobile, as we've just talked about, but really mobile is really meeting the customer where they are. So whenever they actually want to have engage with the bank, people always have their phone on them, be able to engage them right where they are, wherever they are. But you can see some of this here. But really, meeting your customers, capturing information wherever they are, whenever they want to transact, is pretty key these days, especially with millennials. Just a quote here from the global head of emerging platforms at Citi. But the key here is the last part. But now they expect to do whatever they want, whenever they want, and wherever they want to do it. And mobile is the key to doing that. So it's time to process this change. So everybody's dealt with those old copies and making copies on the multifunction printer in the branch offices. But really, as Levine has said earlier, taking it to the phones or the tablets, and be able to capture pictures wherever they are, whether it's a driver's license or proof of identity or proof of residency. Use what people have on them and optimize it and let them be engaged throughout the process. So the third technology trend I'm going to speak to is really about verification, authentication services, and I've just labeled a few here from Equifax, the Early Warning Group. But really, this is authenticating your customers at the time they're actually applying. So again, going back to what Bob was saying with compliance, knowing who your customers are, should I do business with this customer? Can I do it? And how do I manage this? So this is just an example from Early Warning Systems, and some of their instant identity checks and validations. This is an example. And to take this a step further, but really, this is being able to do this in real time and be able to do all of the AML checks and the KYC checks, and be able to report on this and to ensure that I am compliant and that I'm actually able to open this account and do business with this person and know the intent of the account in a real-time manner is, again, one of the top technology trends here that we're going through. So number 4, I've got document capture and data extraction. So really being able to use the devices, whether it's in a branch, it's in their pocket, it's on their desktop, or if they want to send it in an email, but really capturing any of these documents whenever the customer wants to send it to you, and then being able to actually do something with the document. So not literally taking a picture and sending a JPEG into a back office situation where someone has to look at it and then rekey the information, and that may actually be disjointed from the process. It may take place later in the day or maybe even the next day. And God forbid if something was not in good order where you had to go back to the customer and ask them to resubmit something. But being able to take that document, and whether it was the picture was taken on a phone or a tablet, be able to take that picture, convert it to a usable TIFF image, extract data from it in real time, and then use that data as part of the process to go out and get authentication services or a credit score or whatever the process demands at the time. So being able to extract data from documents and use the data downstream in the process is actually very efficient. Much many less errors, so you kind of get the point there. But being able to take the data, process any document, whether it's structured or semi-structured, being able to enhance the data with barcodes or even bouncing up against your internal data sources so that you don't have to require the entire address. You can actually just get the numbers on the mailing address and the zip code, and I can pre-fill everything else. But really to try and use that data as downstream in your calculations or again, interacting with other third-party services but then really taking that data that comes out of all the sources, out of these third-party sources, out of the documents you've asked the customer for, but then doing something with it, like sending it directly into your core banking system in order to set the account up, to initiate other processes like initiate transfer of assets, or to generate the account number and take the data and do something with it at that point. So being able to take the data from the customer's documents, third-party data, and actually do something with it by putting it into your core system in real time is another good technology trend. Number 5 is really about process and workflow. So creating that better experience. So being able to interrogate documents right off the bat and know that it's not signed, or know that the Social Security number is invalid, and be able to tell the person submitting the data right there that, oh, sorry, like in a mortgage situation, I need the last 2 years of your W-2 versus, you sent me a 1999 W-2. I really don't need that. I need the last 2 years kind of thing. So being able to do an automated, not in good order resolution process right at the time of submission prevents all that garbage from getting into your process. I'm a process excellence person, so I'm using terms like not in good order and garbage in, garbage out, GIGO kinds of things. But, being able to put some of the onerous on the consumer submitting and requesting things. I think they actually have the one that has the most interest in seeing this the process go well. But then taking all of the data and documents that you've secured and knowing your customers, so fulfilling all of the compliance regulations that surround us in our industry, but then being able to integrate with your line of business systems, whether it's your repository or your core banking system, but really getting into and using that data without having to rekey it is key. I've got about 5 more minutes left, so let me go through these pretty quickly. And then being able to take that data that we just talked about and be able to share it and then integrate it with other systems like your core banking system. So as we all know, and as banks have grown up, you've acquired other banks, you've got other banking systems, you've got brokerage doesn't talk to your core banking system, or your high net worth doesn't want to talk to brokerage. So being able to actually connect all these systems together and get that 360 view of your customer. So whether it's internal or even external data sources, being able to integrate all that information in and to be able to provide a better experience to your customers in real time is another key technology trend here. So, and then we're going to talk about the 7th one was really about analytics. So, Levine talked about a little about doing A/B testing on their process to figure out exactly what's working, what's not working. This is actually being able to do it in real time with analytics. So know where customers abandon the process, at what stage are they most likely to abandon the process, being able to then take action in that steps in order to correct it or enhance the process to fix or rectify the problem. So being able to get real-time dashboards, real-time analytics, and even process analytics is the next slide, so that I know exactly what the process is. I know how many are coming in. I know how many are coming out. I can actually click into each of these boxes to see details, and so I can know exactly what's coming in, which step, where which boxes are going, which customers are going out of sequence, which is our next slide really here in this sort of swim lane, but really process analytics is knowing which customers follow the happy path, which ones are having to go back and redo paths, which customers' processes are being skipped. As you can see here, there's several of these that are being customers' processes are being skipped or skipped processes. And so being able to identify and fix processes in a visual way is very key. So being able to actually look at your processes, know what they are, know what they should be, and being able to take action on them in order to rectify the situation is a good thing to include in your new account opening process. Number 8, e-signature. We talked, we sort of banter around this a lot, but providing the ability to sign any document electronically on all types, services, devices, detect fraud, and all this stuff is actually a very good process. You don't want to have to go through a very, online real-time process and at the end of it spit out a piece of paper for them to sign and put in the mail. That just does not work anymore. So you have to be able to incorporate e-signature into your process. Number 9, custom communications. So being able to, as Levine said earlier, it's not just about opening the account. It's all the stuff that comes after this, and being able to customize your communications, whether they want a text message or voicemails or letters in the mail. But this is how you get engaged customers. This is how you cross-sell. This is how you upsell, and this is how they keep engagement, and that's how you actually get more revenue. So being able to map out how this process works, and then being able to customize communications based upon whether it's a brand, whether it's the customer, whether it's the channel in which they want to be communicated on, but being able to lay this out and make them feel special and unique, it helps them be engaged, and they'll probably actually at that point, purchase more products and increase revenue for the bank. So number 10, I've really, as I said this earlier, really got an integrated platform that sort of pulls all this stuff together. Anywhere from the capture, the mobility, collaboration, analytics, e-signature as a platform to be able to provide all of this stuff. And then on top of this, it's really where you actually layer on smart process applications. Smart process applications is a term used by Forrester about a year ago that really came out. And you can see some examples here with mortgage or new account opening or claims processing, but really is taking business rules that are specific to a process and making those available on an integrated platform. So you have multiple sort of smart process applications that you can roll out, you can improve upon on top of a platform. I'm taking a breath here for a minute, but so just wrapping up on the recommendations. So really, I think we've all said this, but really focus on your customer's experience, how to get them engaged, how to get them through the process in the way that they want to be engaged. Build flexibility in your operating model, so know where you're going, and look for new trends and incorporate, but really be clear how your economic value is going to be derived. So do your homework, do the ROI analysis, make sure that what you're stating you're going to save is actually known, and then you can actually create a roadmap for progressing this into the future. I think mobile is vitally important in order to engage customers these days, but it's not just only mobile. It's other. You have to be consistent across channels. So if they want to start in mobile and then finish up at home, you have to be able to give them that save and return sort of functionality. And then I say here really is find that trusted partner that brings the best of breeds into your organization and has done this in the past to really solve those business challenges and has a customer-first mentality. So my little commercial here for Kofax. We've been doing this for a long time. We've got an industry-leading reputation, 24 of the top 25 global banks. We've been there. We are a trusted technology company inside of financial services. So we've done this before. We learned how to get it right and do it right for our customers and therefore their customers. Our integrated platform, Total Agility, just for an onboarding example, but really, as a smart process application built on top of the platform itself. So with that, I think we have 4 more minutes for questions. I think, Michael, are you going to pick up a few?
Yep, I'm going to step in here, Chris. Thank you so much. And yeah, we do have 4 or 5 minutes here for a couple questions at the end, and we want to make room for questions as we've got them. And I want to thank the audience for putting in a couple great questions already. So I'll read out the question. I'll just let you panelists please just sort of step in as whoever would like to answer the question. If we want to, one person wants to answer it and the next person wants to add a little, that'd be fine too. So please just step in as you'd like. Approximately how many new accounts, new money, do you need to bring in via this channel to justify the cost of software, integration, processing, etc.?
Okay, this is Levleen. I'll take a stab at that. We really view this as almost like we have a low-cost model in place. And so typically with a typical branch, suppose you have a $100 deposit at the branch, on average it costs about the branch $2 to service that account. Versus our model, it's closer to the 50-cent mark. So I understand that there is investment in terms of really getting the services and the software and the integration and the compliance and the risk, but it's still a low-cost model. So our goal for this year is to open at least 25,000 accounts, and we really are on track to be reaching our goal. But in terms of getting you a concrete number, it's really hard to say, except that we are well positioned in terms of really creating a low-cost model and being able to pass on those savings to our customers, and we are on target to reach our $25,000 goal for the end of the year.
Yeah, this is Chris. I think that you answered that correctly. I think there's no way for us to throw out a number, a magic number. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different sort of cost infrastructure. How many branches, how many people. That's where all the productivity gains come from. So, and I think one thing with this integrated platform approach that I've been touting is that it's not just opening a new account. You should be able to use this platform to do other areas in the bank, like mortgage or onboarding new employees. Very similar process, but being able to leverage your investment in one area to sort of spread the cost to implement across multiple areas.
Great, thank you. And next question, maybe for Bob here. How have you modified your in-bank account opening process at Customers Bank based on what you've learned with Bank Mobile?
Wow, that's a great question. So the lessons learned, we pushed back to our decision matrix for approving customers, like the qual file, and our tolerances had all changed. So from a decision standpoint, we did move that to the front line. There was a lot that we learned with Bank Mobile and pushed that to the same types of decisions that we were doing on the teller line. The functionality, we're in the process right now of taking some of that functionality and putting in the Customer Bank Mobile world. So we'll have selected some of the account opening options, a smaller geographic region, but migrate that over from Bank Mobile into the Customer Bank model, and we're looking to do that by the end of the summer.
Excellent, excellent. Let me ask a sort of looks like a kind of a two-part question here. What is the typical customer uptake rate when a bank provides mobile as an account opening channel? I'm also interested to understand the key customer touch points via mobile when opening an account. Is it just upfront or also downstream? A lot of questions in there, but I thought I'd just kind of group them together.
Yeah, I can answer. I think the second one I can answer a little bit better than the first one. This is Chris. Your touch points initially, and Levleen, you can probably back me up on this, but really is capturing any kind of data that the customer needs to provide, like a driver's license or the terms and conditions, and being able to maybe even sign electronically the application if that's even part of your process. But I think to both of our points, it just doesn't stop at the end of the opening of the new account. It's all the communication afterwards. So being able to send them text messages or send them voicemails or emails, whichever way they want, in order to sort of let them know about other products the bank may have, or that their account's ready to be funded. And here's the options to fund your account. So being able to keep in touch with your customers long after the account is opened actually leads, I think, to an engaged customer and therefore a more profitable customer.
Great.
I'd add
Thanks.
on
Yeah.
the front end piece, sorry about that. So when we looked at the experience, onboarding and funding was really important. So we allow mobile RDC deposit for initial funding. We took the micro deposit out of the ACH funding. So as we ingest these customers, and truly the end-to-end experience is to get them to where they're funded. So they're seeing balances in their account. Now, we're taking advantage of some holds, but they're seeing balances in their account at the end of that flow if they've chosen a funding mechanism like mobile mobile RDC or ACH.
Great, thank you. And we are a little bit past the top of the hour, but let me just squeak in one more question. I always like to try to get as many in as possible. Have you had experience with using tablets or mobile devices in a traditional branch? If so, any thoughts to share?
This is Chris. We have actually had customers utilize tablets for new account opening and actually any kind of customer service request they may bring in. So you can actually stay engaged with the customer as they come into the branch over at the branch manager's desk, for example, and where you can actually take pictures of or capture with the mobile device right there and stay engaged with the customer, being asked questions, as opposed to taking the documents that they bring in, going back behind the counter, putting them on a multifunction device and sort of scanning them that way, or even putting them in a postal pouch and shipping them into a central location to be able to be imaged later that night or even next day. So it just goes to show sort of the engagement by the branch and the branch manager being able to keep the conversation going as part of the engagement, and being able to actually show that you're a technology up with the times kind of a bank as well.
This is Loveline. So I work 100% on Bank Mobile, which is a completely digital bank. But the closest that we get to, I guess, a traditional bank, you could say, is going back to the point that Bob made earlier, that we go to school campuses, we do some grassroots marketing in terms of street teams, going to conferences and events. And when we are at these locations, we want to also be able to help our customers open accounts right there and then. And it is very simple for them to take out their device and go through our onboarding process, but we also want to have sort of this concierge feel where we can almost help them do it. So when we're face-to-face with customers, similar to a bank branch in these situations, we have created a platform internally as well, where we can just capture 3 or 4 pieces of information while they're standing there with us, and we can open that account for them on the back end. And in terms of what other thoughts we have to share, it's really the same process. So it's about creating that seamless, effortless, fast account opening process, which we're doing with asking them just these 3-4 questions. And then it's about this customer communication, which we continue as well. So the same way, if they open the account with us face-to-face, we send them that email in real time and welcome them on board with really that same flow that I talked about, outlining what steps we want them to take and really inspiring a sense of excitement that they joined Bank Mobile. So nothing really changes.
Great, thank you, Loveline. And that does bring us a couple minutes past the top of the hour. I want to, I'll wrap things up now. Thanks to Loveline, Chris, and Bob for a great hour of discussion and questions here. And thanks, of course, to the audience. Thank you for hanging with us a few minutes past the top of the hour. Really going to appreciate that, and we really would not want to do this without you, so thanks for being here. And please, everyone in the audience, in the next 24 to 48 hours, we'll be sending you an email with a link to the presentation and the recording that you can kind of re-listen to or review at your leisure. We encourage you to do that. Keep an eye out for that in your inbox. And with that, I'll wrap it up. Wish everyone a wonderful rest of the day, and I hope you'll join us again here very soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you.